for tuning into the first video episode of You Never Know, a continuation of my Kentwood Through the Lens escapades. And a few days ago, I got to talk to Kathy Wonkel. She has a lot of relatives in this area, but the important part is, she found one of the most complete dinosaur skeletons in the United States. Here's what she said. Okay, hi Miss Wonkel, thanks for coming on my show today. We basically just interview people and spotlight different interesting things that happen in the area. And so, you officially found one of the first complete T-Rex skeletons. Now, first, I need to ask, are you an archaeologist?
I am not. I'm not a paleontologist. I am not an archaeologist. I am a hobbyist I am a rock hound, I guess is the best description.
Okay, wow, that's cool. So, take me back to when you found this T-Rex skeleton. How did you come across it?
It was in Montana, Labor Day weekend of 1988. My family and I were camping at Fort Peck Reservoir, which is a very big body of water in eastern Montana. And it was in the Hell Creek Formation, which is Badlands, I guess is the best description. And I was looking for fossils. I'm not a big fisher. I don't like to fish, so usually I will go looking for rocks and just happened to hit the jackpot.
Oh wow, okay. So, what piece did you find of the skeleton first?
Actually, there was only, probably like the corner of an envelope sticking out of the ground, but I could see bone matrix. It was a different color than the surrounding rocks, and I just knew it was a bone. I didn't know at that point if it was a bison bone, cow bone, whatever, but...
So, after you found the bone, what was the first thing you did?
The first thing, well, we had to dig it out a little bit, and it was, that year was, I don't know if you remember, you probably don't remember 1988, but it was a severe drought, and the Yellowstone Park was on fire, and the governor had put a moratorium on all outdoor activity right after we found this, but, so the ground was baked very hard. It's clay, gumbo-y mud, and so we dug with a pocket knife and then brushed it away and dug down a little further. We couldn't get the bones out at that point. We knew we needed more tools. So after the moratorium on outdoor activity was lifted, we went up and it turned out to be the shoulder blade and the little front arm of a T-Rex, the little wavy arms. And the ulna bone had never been found before, so we were the first people to discover that.
So with it being such an important find, was there any government officials you had to deal with or anything like that?
Well, what we did was dug out what we could, took them home. We're still not really sure what kind of bones they were and things. Called the Museum of the Rockies, which is located in Bozeman, Montana. And they said, well, bring them on down and we'll take a look at them. So at Thanksgiving time, we went down to Bozeman, took them to the museum. They came out to our station wagon. I'll never forget, we swung the door open and they're thinking, oh, it's probably going to be some cow bones. And the guy looked in there. We had him in some long tray boxes, and his eyes got big as saucers, and he said, you better come with me. So we loaded up the boxes and followed him through locked doors down into a basement, and he got other paleontologists to come out and look. And at that point, I like to tell this part of the story because at that point smoking was still allowed indoors, and all of them were smokers, and they had their Marlboros just puffing away looking at this T-Rex arm. But they made the arrangements to work with the Corps. It was found on a federal wildlife refuge that was controlled by the Corps of Engineers. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So they made all of the arrangements with the officials. Then the following spring, we had to wait for all the snow and everything to go away. And the following spring, an official and 3 men from the museum and my husband and I hiked in there and looked it over. They wanted to see if they thought there was any more bones or if this was just, one arm. And they made the decision that there was probably more there, and then went home and got the money together to get a crew put together and came out that summer and dug for about a month. They had to jacket it for the winter, and they swore us to not tell a soul where the location was. And I think they did have an airplane that would circle around, but they camouflaged it, and the next summer they came with even a bigger dig crew and dug the rest of it up, and it was 85% complete.
Wow. So after they found the rest of the skeleton, did you get to go to any congratulatory events or anything? Was there any sort of follow-up afterwards?
Yeah, we had several fun occasions. Got to be on a game show to tell the truth. They called us up and flew us down to LA, and I was Nova from PBS. There was a special on that. Walter Cronkite had a 4-part dinosaur series. We were part of that. And then it was at the Museum of the Rockies probably for 23 years. And in 2015, through a joint agreement from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Museum of the Rockies, it was moved to the Smithsonian Institution for a 50-year loan.
Wow.
Yeah. Because up until that point, the Smithsonian did not have their own authentic. They just had a replica. So they wanted their own T-Rex.
So you contributed to the Smithsonian's collection. That's pretty amazing.
It is. Proud of that.
Well, it was an honor to talk to you. Thank you for coming on the show, Miss Kathy, and we wish you the best.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. And you can check out my other stuff at councilmancooper.com and discoverkentwood.com. I'll see you next time.